You don't choose this job because it sounds cool. You choose it because something inside you refuses to stay behind. It's 3 in the morning. A helicopter is spinning up on a forward operating base somewhere in Afghanistan. A soldier is down, bleeding, alone, behind enemy lines. And while every rational instinct says stay, one man is already running toward that helicopter. Not because he has to, because that's what he trained 2 years for. That's what he bled for. That's what he almost quit for. 100 times over. He's a pararescueman, a PJ. And this is what it takes to become one, at every level. You're 19. You just walked into the recruiter's office. You said 3 words, pararescue, I want in. The recruiter looked at you, not with doubt, with honesty. He told you the dropout rate, 80%. 8 out of 10 people who start this pipeline don't finish it. You heard that number, and you thought, I'll be the 2. That belief, that stubborn, irrational belief, is the only thing that gets you through the door. Everything else starts here. You're in Lackland, Texas. Week 1 of indoctrination. It's 5 a.m. You're already wet. The instructors call it motivation. Your body calls it something else. You run, you swim, you carry logs that have no business being carried. You do sit-ups in sand, push-ups in surf, flutter kicks until your legs stop feeling like legs, and then you do it again. The man next to you quits on day 4. You watch him walk away. You don't judge him. You use him as fuel. Because the only question that matters in Indoc is not, how strong are you? It's, how long can you refuse to stop? You're in Key West, Florida. The water is warm. That's the only good thing about it. Because what happens beneath the surface is anything but warm. An instructor swims up to you, rips your mask off, pulls the regulator from your mouth, turns off your air, and then waits, not to hurt you, to find out what you do next. The wrong answer is panic. Panic costs seconds. In the ocean, in the dark, on a real mission, seconds cost lives. You fix your mask. You restore your air. You keep swimming, because that's what they need to know you can do. Function, when everything inside you is screaming to surface. You're at 25,000 feet. Oxygen mask on. Temperature 60 below zero. The aircraft door opens. Wind like a wall. You're not jumping for thrill. You're jumping for precision. Halo. High altitude. Low opening. You free fall through the dark. Through cloud. Through cold that bites through every layer. And somewhere below is a landing zone no GPS can fully predict. You pull the chute. You navigate. You land exactly where you're supposed to. Not because you got lucky. Because you trained for this until luck had nothing to do with it. You're in a simulation room. A man is bleeding out in front of you. Fake blood. Real pressure. You have 90 seconds. Tourniquet. Airway. Chest seal. IV access. Your hands move without hesitation. Not because this is easy, because you've done this drill so many times. Your hands remember what your mind is too stressed to think. By the end of this phase, you will be a fully certified paramedic. Combat trauma, field surgery, prolonged care in austere environments. Most medics work in hospitals. You'll work in jungles, deserts, ocean swells, and active firefights. The body you're saving doesn't care where you are. Neither do you. You're 8 months in. Your body is fine. Your body has been fine for a while now. It's your mind that's tired, not breaking. Just tired. You wake up some mornings and the thought arrives before you do. What if I just stopped? Not because you can't continue, but because continuing is a choice you have to make every single day. You call home. Your mom asks how you're doing. You say fine. You hang up. And you lace up your boots. Because the men who make it through this pipeline aren't the ones who never feel like quitting. They're the ones who feel it every morning and show up anyway. Survival, evasion, resistance, escape. They take everything from you. Sleep, food, comfort, the sense of where you are, and then they interrogate you. Not gently. The goal isn't to break you for fun. The goal is to prove to you that you can be broken and still not break. Because in a real mission, if everything goes wrong, capture is possible, and a PJ who falls apart under pressure is a risk to everyone around him. You come out of SERE changed, not harder, clearer. You know exactly what you're made of now, and so do they. 2 years, give or take. 2 years of cold water, high altitude, sleep deprivation, medical exams, combat drills, and mornings where you chose to keep going, when no one would have blamed you for stopping. And now, someone is placing a beret on your head. Maroon, the color of the pararescue. You don't cry, but it's close. Not because of pride, because you finally understand the weight of the motto that you've been hearing for 2 years, that others may live. It was never about you. It was never supposed to be. You're on a helicopter. It's dark. You don't know exactly where you're going. You know someone is hurt. You know they can't wait. And you know that you are the reason they might not have to. The landing zone is hot. You move anyway. You reach the casualty. You drop to your knees in the dirt. And every single thing you learned, the pool, the jump, the cold, the pain, flows through your hands. You stabilize him. You load him. You get back on that helicopter. And as it lifts, you look down at your hands. Still moving. Still working. This is what you trained for. Not for the beret. Not for the title. For this. You're older now. Quieter. You've been on deployments people will never know about. In places that won't make the news. Doing things that don't get explained at dinner parties. You've lost teammates. You've carried that too. And you've saved lives. That statistics said were already over. Now you train the new ones. You watch them struggle in the water, gasp on the runs, tremble during SERE. And you don't make it easier for them. Because you know something they don't yet. The hardest part isn't the training. It's the moment you arrive somewhere in the dark, and a human being's life depends entirely on what you do next. And all that training was just practice for that moment. You started as an applicant, nervous, uncertain, wondering if you had what it took, and you moved through the levels. From not knowing how to tread water under stress, to operating in open ocean at midnight, from a recruit who couldn't imagine jumping from a plane, to a man who does it in the dark, in enemy territory, on purpose, from someone learning what a tourniquet is, to someone who applies one while rounds are flying overhead. But here's what stays with you. Not the jumps, not the dives, not even the missions. It's the faces. The ones who made it because you were there. The ones who wouldn't have otherwise. Because in this job, victory doesn't look like a flag. It looks like a heartbeat, a breath, a man who gets to go home. Because in the world of US and Air Force Pararescue, the mission was never about being the best. It was about being there when it mattered most, for someone who had nothing left but the hope that someone was coming.